Greetings and welcome. This is Psychic Medium Roberto, and I truly hope you're doing well today. I'm recording this episode on May the 9th at 3:40 p.m. 3:40 p.m. Central African Time, Johannesburg, South Africa. Alright, trigger warning. The subject matter is of a mature nature and deals with true crime events. All cases are treated as alleged until proven in a court of law. And I'll be looking at the disappearance of Mekayla, known to the public as Mekayla Bali. And of course, she went missing in 2016. And I do have her permission finally. And just a footnote, I've been mentioning lately, and this is in response to It's the Truth Lady. Thank you for asking to do the show. I had prepared this a few weeks ago, actually. Now, with every single case I do, without a doubt, I request permission. If I do not get the permission, I do not do the show. And for a while, Mekayla didn't want me to do the show. And it was actually in a few days, or in the past couple of days, she was pinging on me. And confirmation has been received that I can proceed. Of course, there's certain elements that she does not want me to talk about. And therefore, I will not talk about them. I will give you what I can. So, this is where I had got to before. And we're going to continue from here. Now, on the day that she went missing, April 12, I must say I did read the sequence of events. And I find it strange that she was backwards and forwards at one particular restaurant, then back to school, met her friends, then left again, back into town. It just seems like odd behavior. But I am picking up messages of what transpired, and I just received a second one. The person she was going to meet got delayed. I just received that now. The person she was meant to meet that morning got delayed. Alright, so and I do believe she was going to meet someone, and there is evidence to show it. But it's safe to say, according to current evidence, she was last seen around 1 p.m., 1:40 p.m. on April the 12th. So that is where the arrow begins pointing down there, from that line onwards. And up to and including the next day where you see the arrow pointing up at the line. So let me explain why. This is all to do with a time, the way the chart shows the time. So just give me 1 second here. I'm just going to call or get my times. Yeah, they are, yeah. Alright, so on the day of an event, right? So I'll put the example here. So from midnight to sunrise, we're dealing with 499 on that particular day. And when you from sunrise to sunset, you're dealing with the 13, 4, and the 9. And then from sunset to midnight, you're then dealing with the outcomes of the day. Now, you could say, well, if it started here, then it ends here. But we're just going to go in a perfect loop so that we include a 24-hour cycle. because the previous numbers will play a role as well. And just looking at April 9, look at all those 9s there, my goodness. Here's the big idea. This is actually the big idea day. You got all these 9s. You have all these 9s that are out of balance. So there's an imbalance here, all these 9s. This is not good, yeah. Coupled with double 13 4s. See, this is also the thing. I believe previous cases prepare me for the next case. And I'm seeing similar corresponding situations here that we saw with the, I believe, with the Grace Kelly show. So because we're in a 9 year, the universal number, we're going to get double impacts here. So this whole year was tough for all of us. 2016. And we're coming round to a 9 year next year. And it is asking you, when you're in a 9 year, is to, in colloquial terms, be the best you are, be your higher self, forget about the things that are holding you back or are not serving any good purpose. In the 8th year, get rid of all of that nonsense or whatever it is. Because when we enter 9, the universe is going to be shaking some trees. So let's be ready. Rather start getting fit and ready now, that when you get round to next year, good to go. Alright. So with these times, now we'll note so from sunrise to sunset. Now we know the last sighting was around 1:40 p.m. that day. So it still falls within the zone here. 16, 7, 9. I have a feeling one, 2, 3. So here. So 3 days later, 72 hours, numerology provides a reflection for us of the 3 days looking back, right? Like a time traveler movie. Sorry, the energies are hitting me hard. I was actually intending to have a break because the output has increased all of a sudden again. But I'll take Val's advice. I had a lovely reading with her on Saturday, Val Evans. I wasn't paid to make this plug, but I'm just saying. And why stop? Just keep doing what I do. Alright, so let's have a look here. So the reflection day then is from the 1910-1 down, and including the top line of April 16. Now, I just want to mention something, if I may, and I'm asking Mekayla. Her date of birth, born July the 2nd, 1999. We have the 7 plus the 2 plus the 9. These are amazing numbers. 7, freedom, travel, life. Emotional number 2, also engaging. Number 9, you'll note there's presence of 9s around her. She's born in 1999. And I felt this when doing the numbers here today. That, with nines, when they think, they go deep inside their minds. And they're not daydreaming. They are practical thinkers. They've got ideas. How are we going to solve it? What's the solution? If they find the solution in their mind, they will test it then in reality. But it must be with practical outcomes. And unfortunately, I believe then on April 9, and this is because of her age, that the grand plan, 999's out of kilter, with I'm going to change my life, 13.4. There's the plan, 22.4 plan. Unfortunately, as we know it today, it did not work out. Now, before doing the reading, especially when there's kids involved, I actually first want to get confirmation whether Mekayla is alive or if she's passed. And that was my final confirmation to continue with the show. And unfortunately, I don't believe it has a good ending here, unfortunately. Now, we're going to go through the numbers here. But I have a theory. But we need to test. There needs to be at least 3 confirmations. There needs to be validation from other numbers. But I have a theory. And the theory involves the 16-7. So I believe there may have been a serial killer situation here, unfortunately. A serial killer of the nature. Look at all these ones and zeros, ones and zeros, ones and zeros, ones and zeros. Mekayla, ones and zeros, ones and zeros, ones and zeros. Over the internet or some kind of online chat system or whatever it is. MO of the serial killer is lure young girls out thinking they're meeting a younger male or boy of their age, right? Because that's the impression. I received an image, and I'm going to say it. I received an image because there was, now, when Mekayla was at one of the coffee shops, or at the coffee shop, she asked the lady, how can I book an hotel room? And I don't believe she got the answer, whatever, but I did pick up an image of her opening the door, and then this big man barges through. So the reason why I believe, let's deal with the facts as we know it, or the story. I believe the way the morning panned out for her were for a number of reasons. One, the adult male had to attend to work issues and therefore cannot pick her up in the morning. Then she goes back to school, meets her friends. There's something about that. Let's come back to that encounter with her friends when she goes back, because was it an opportunity? I mean, we can say in hindsight, but that's why I just want to make sure as a psychic, because I think she may have just given me that, because it could have been an opportunity for her to not go back. So let's say this, you're going to meet someone and you're going to run off and have a holiday. Okay, in her mind. Everything's safe and secure in her mind. She meets someone online, they're going to meet. What's wrong with that? We're going away for 3 days, I'll be back, whatever. Okay? Yeah. And that was the plan. So when she goes back to school, and when you're going to meet someone and they don't show up, are we saying, could she have said, oh, this is not a good sign, maybe I'll call this off, maybe he actually got cold feet, or there might have been contact even. I'm running late, I'll see you, let's meet now at 3 o'clock, because I'm an adult male with responsibilities. And there is evidence of adult male. So if we look at April the 15th, we're in the reflection zone. We have standing at the front door, Mr. 156. And in Mekayla's mind, this is just confirmation, on April the 13th, that morning 13 phone number, in her mind, she's, well, prior to that, let's say, she was going to go on a cool adventure. So on the eve of the event, so I'm back here April 12, on the eve of the event, who's waiting around the corner? Mr. 156. So here's he waiting for the next morning, and here he is waiting at the front door. Tap, tap, tap at the front door. And it's a double 15-6 here. Hey? Now this 24-6 bothers me here actually. Okay. Now, on April the 13th, we note the 26-8. This is when she realizes something's wrong here. So my theory is you see these double number days. There's a lot going on here. I was just wondering, and I was wondering when I first looked at this, and she's tapping me on the nose because she knows I'm going somewhere. Mekayla, I wonder if things were okay for Mekayla inside the home. And I have been asked not to go there. That was one of the agreements. But I'm just saying, we'll leave it at that, but I'm just saying, is that the cause or the reason why then she thinks, well, maybe I'm not actually going on holiday. She was going away for good. But I still get the same outcome in that whatever was going on at home and whatever she thought she was doing, the 15-6 guy had different plans, of course. So it feels like it happened at the time when she needed the most, like someone to reach out to, and just disappear. But when she gets there, it's not exactly what she had in mind. Quite the very opposite. In fact, it's the typical, there's a phrase for it, man. So we'll have to go online and see what happened in terms of grooming elements, but also luring and entrapping a young child into their web. So of course, as adults, we'll say, I'm meant to meet my new boyfriend or my new girlfriend or someone I'm going to date for the first time. It's a first date, and they don't pitch up for 3-4 hours. There's a good sign. But when you're dealing with someone that is as young as Mekayla, she's probably more in the mindset of accommodating. Better than going back home. However, as dreadful as that is, I think the plot thickens here. And this is the 16-7 in play here. Now, I've been talking about this number a lot lately, but I've never used it in its form of a serial killer. Yes, serial behavior can be. Repetitive behavior, yes, can be. But when you got combination of numbers like, so the main one, 15-6, older male, with deviant sexual behavior attributes. 15-6. It's not just an older male who's randy. This is an older male with sexual deviant behavior. Sexual deviant behaviors coupled with the 16-7. Now you see, do we have a serial killer, sexual predator, right? Let's see, we get more information. So again, here's another classic member of the pedo suit. 14-5. Older men, younger girls. So we are dealing with something here. This is not Mekayla goes to meet Johnny, who's her same age, and they run off into the sunset. That's probably what she had in mind. But instead, Mr. John arrives at the door, or probably double her age. What is she? 16, 20, 32. I think he might have been a bit older even, eh? Probably around 35, 45. 35, 45. 35, 45. Around about the 40s. 34, around about there, 40. So we've got this 27-9 in play here as well. That also shows, here's another 16-7. So this 16-7 is right in the playbook. That's game over. And can also speak to manner, asphyxiation. But the 27-9 here indicates a level of premeditation. So I'm starting to believe that whoever this person was she was going to meet or did meet has done this before, and he has done this before serial killer numbers on the scene here. So if I was police, were there similar MOs happening around this time? And however long they want to create the date range, 3 years, 2 years, or about 4 years. Yeah. So if I was police, I would look at to see what kind of crimes were committed in that area, similar. But there's definitely a serial killer loose here. This person has definitely done it before. Now, April the 9th. Mass of 9s, masses of 4s. She was definitely online. Definitely online. And that's where she met him. I believe he would have approached her, because it's like, for example, she goes online and the 14-5 always comes towards the person, right? And there we go, decisions are made about. That's on April 11, on the 11/2, decisions are made, connections are made, and who's in the middle? The older male. Pretending to be familiar, like a same age friend, but in fact it's the proverbial wolf in sheep's clothing. And unfortunately, Mekayla walked right into the web. So what would have happened with her? Let's just see here. I heard a splash of water. And we'll note on April 16 there's a 2220 water. Now, I don't know the location of where this happened. I know it's in Canada, or the story's from Canada. But there's definitely big bodies of water around here, eh? 20 water. Look at all the twos here. Water, definitely water. Water. So I believe he may have put her in the water. Lots of water here. And this April 15, this whole day pings on Mekayla, pretty much. And when the feeling that I'm getting, because there's so many matching numbers, the 1910 one, the 2810 one, tells me that she completely walked straight into this, oblivious to anything. And you know, when you got sevens in your date of birth, July 7, you know, we all have strengths and weaknesses, our numbers, or the numbers. And the 7, if you have very dominant 7s, can be, and of course it changes with age, because we're dealing with a young person here as well, and she was a 7, yeah. 16-7. Because she was in a 7, she has a 7, you know, you trust people. You believe them at face value or at text value. And it was because of her age. Angel. And unfortunately, because there's so many numbers in the crime scene reflection day, it tells me she walked in wholeheartedly into the situation. It wasn't like, oh, let me pop into that shop quickly. I mean, she had it in her mind, and it talks to her who she was. One's very single-minded. So when she gets an idea, that is it. And this is the thing about 9s. People with a lot of 9s in their profile or around them, is that I tell you, when they make up their minds about something, whatever it is, just stand out the way. It's not going to change for anyone. And she has a mass of 1s. And this is why April the 9th is so strong. I'm going to flag this day here. This would be a good investigation day here. Online activity, and of course the day before, day after scenario as well. But on this day, there were decisions made. And all the 9s that ping on her 9. And she wouldn't know it was a bad idea, would she? Because if you look on the day, if she had any idea about numerology, she would see all the 9s out of kilter. So it wasn't a good idea after all. But unfortunately, I believe she may have fallen in the grasp of a serial offender. And then put her in water as the final resting place. I was hoping for a positive outcome. I did look when I first looked at it. So as I started recording, or just before I started recording, I had a beautiful smell of a bakery. The fresh breads and pastries around the bakery. She is okay, ladies and gentlemen. She is okay. Probably better than okay. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, please leave your comments and thoughts. I love engaging with your comments. Please stay safe, stay alert out there, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.